The emergency room doors burst open with a violent crash that echoed through the entire hospital hallway. Nurses froze mid-step, monitors beeped wildly, and a stretcher rolled crookedly into a wall. In the doorway stood a man so enormous he seemed to fill the entire frame of light behind him. Nearly 7 feet tall, broad as a doorway, his shoulders shaking with rage and pain, the giant stormed inside like a living thunderstorm. Patients shrank back. Orderlies backed away. Even the seasoned ER staff looked uncertain for a moment. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet strength of ordinary people, take a second to like the video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone who believes in humanity, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss powerful stories like this one. The giant's name was Marcus Hale. His massive frame was wrapped in torn denim and a dark flannel shirt soaked with rain and sweat. Blood ran down his forearm where a deep gash cut across the muscle. His breathing was heavy, uncontrolled. Every step he took made the floor tremble slightly, and his eyes, wild, frightened, and angry, scanned the room as if expecting danger from every corner. Security guards hesitated, whispering to each other. They had seen difficult patients before, but nothing like this. At the far end of the nurses' station stood someone who had been working in that hospital for less than 3 weeks. Her name was Claire Donovan, 24 years old, barely 5 feet 4 inches tall, with chestnut hair tied into a tight braid and tired eyes that still carried the nervous determination of someone new to the profession. She was what the hospital called a rookie nurse. Most of the experienced staff had seen dozens of emergencies, but Claire was still learning where every supply cabinet was located. The moment Marcus slammed a metal tray off a counter with one swing of his arm, chaos began to ripple through the ER. A patient screamed. A child started crying. One doctor quietly stepped backward toward the security phone. Marcus wasn't just injured, he was spiraling into something dangerous. Pain and fear had turned his mind into a storm. Claire watched the scene unfold with her heart racing. Her hands trembled slightly as she gripped the edge of the desk. Every instinct told her to stay back. Everyone else was backing away. But something inside her mind stirred, something older than her nursing training. Before Claire had become a nurse, she had grown up in a very different world. Her father, Thomas Donovan, had served 22 years in the United States Army. When Claire was young, he believed every daughter should know how to protect herself. Weekend afternoons weren't always spent at parks or malls. Many times they were spent in their backyard, where Thomas taught her balance, leverage, and discipline, lessons from military defensive training. He always said the same thing: strength isn't about size. It's about timing, control, and courage. Those lessons had never really left her. Marcus roared again, slamming his injured arm against a counter, knocking supplies across the floor. His pain was clearly driving him deeper into panic. A security guard stepped forward but immediately stopped when Marcus turned his towering frame toward him. Claire inhaled slowly. She walked forward. At first, no one even noticed. A small rookie nurse stepping toward a 7-foot giant in the middle of an ER meltdown seemed almost unreal. But Claire kept moving until she stood only a few feet away from Marcus. Her heart pounded so loudly she could hear it in her ears. She didn't look frightened anymore. She looked focused. Marcus turned toward her, towering over her like a wall of muscle and fury. His injured arm hung slightly at his side, blood still dripping slowly onto the tile floor. For a brief moment, everything in the room went still. Claire knew something most people in the room didn't realize yet. Marcus wasn't truly trying to hurt anyone. His body language showed pain, disorientation, and defensive panic. A wounded animal backed into a corner. If security rushed him, things could become catastrophic. So Claire did something unexpected. She stepped even closer. Her hand moved carefully, guiding Marcus's injured arm with surprising confidence. When he jerked in reaction, she used a swift motion, one precise technique her father had drilled into her hundreds of times. With perfect timing, she shifted her weight, turned her body, and used leverage against his shoulder joint. It wasn't brute strength. It was physics. In a single fluid motion, Marcus lost balance. His massive frame dropped to one knee, stunned more by surprise than pain. Claire immediately secured his arm in a controlled position that prevented him from swinging or thrashing. Gasps filled the room. The giant who had terrified the entire ER was suddenly kneeling under the control of a rookie nurse half his size. But Claire didn't hold him there aggressively. Instead, she leaned close and spoke quietly, calmly, her voice steady like still water after a storm. Within seconds, Marcus's breathing began to slow. His eyes, once burning with panic, started to focus again. The adrenaline drained from his enormous frame like air escaping a balloon. He wasn't fighting anymore. He was exhausted. Claire gently guided him to sit fully on the floor, maintaining control of the arm while signaling another nurse to bring medical supplies. Doctors rushed in cautiously, but Claire nodded reassuringly. The storm had passed. As they cleaned Marcus's wound, the truth slowly came out. He had been in a construction accident earlier that evening. A piece of metal had sliced his arm badly, and the pain combined with shock had pushed him into a state of panic. By the time he reached the hospital, fear and adrenaline had taken control. But now, sitting there on the ER floor with bandages being wrapped around his arm, Marcus looked more like a tired giant than a dangerous one. Claire finally stepped back, her hands still shaking slightly now that the moment had passed. The room slowly returned to life. Nurses whispered in disbelief. Doctors exchanged amazed glances. Even the security guards shook their heads. No one expected the quiet rookie nurse to be the one who calmed the storm. Weeks later, Marcus returned to the hospital, this time walking calmly through the front doors with a box of donuts for the staff. He asked only one question at the desk. "Is Claire Donovan working today?" When she appeared from the hallway, still in her scrubs and still looking a little surprised by the attention, Marcus simply thanked her. Not just for treating his injury, but for seeing the person behind the chaos when everyone else only saw danger. Before this story ends, I want to ask something special. If this moment touched your heart, write the word courage in the comments below so we know how many people believe that bravery doesn't come from size, it comes from heart. Stories like Claire's remind us that true strength isn't always loud or obvious. Sometimes it stands quietly at 5 feet 4 inches, wearing hospital scrubs, carrying compassion in one hand and courage in the other. And if this story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you that small acts of bravery can change everything, please take a moment to like the video, comment your thoughts, and share it with someone who believes that kindness and courage still exist in the world.